Amen, amen, amen. We are going through the path of the divine feminine and what it is that is manifesting with the divine masculine. And it may be necessary to define, and it means those that are in alignment with their highest potential aspects of their soul at this time. So it is when you're in your highest timeline and in alignment with the highest aspects of your soul as well. So that's what we would say is the energy of this reading. I do feel nurtured and loved and supported. So that is the energy that we're laying down as the initial energy for this reading. So then we're going to go into a general card layout as well. And so this is just kind of the general energy that we'll be tying back to throughout the reading. Okay, so we're going to do the Celtic Cross spread, but it's going to be directly related to the manifestation of the divine masculine and feminine. And the question, that is coming to light here is what's going on in the present. And so we're going to go ahead and shuffle like regular, put that back in there. Okay. And so we're going to say, what is it that we need to know about my life partner? And this would be for a new one. So if you're not feeling in alignment with that, this may not be the timeline that you're on. Okay, so this is the energy of the present. Okay, and so what we have crossing that then is perception. Then we go to the past, and that is reflection. You can still see these, yes, okay. And then we have the immediate past is destiny. The crowning thoughts is contract. The immediate future is creation. And then we have love others, environmental factors, what you really wish for, and the outcome. Okay. And then we're going to call forth some other just clarifying cards. Labor, materialism, wellness, and restoration. Okay. And on the bottom of the deck, we have fun, return, and enlightenment. So what's going on in the undercurrent is these cards do have words on them, but we're going to read them as the energies of the cards rather than the actual words that are present on them, so that the energies here are really what is it that's at play. And the undercurrent here is the situation of coming together and having fun in a relationship with a partner. It is transitioning through how it is that you thought things were going to come about, how it is that you witnessed things in the past, and allowing for things to go in a different way. And to really align yourself now in a new and better way for receiving your inner guidance and blessing and your true love counterpart, because right now the situation is ripe for the picking, and it is letting go of how it is that you saw things working out, maybe who you saw yourself with, in the past and the type of relationships that you were attracting, because when we're talking about the actual divine counterparts, what we're talking about is the highest aspect achieved. Okay. So those are the undercurrent energies. Can you see that? Yeah. Okay. Of the cards as well. So it is allowing yourself to really be in the divine alignment in order to manifest what it is that you want. And so we're going to look at this card and recognize that the current situation is that there are a lot of things that are happening on the planet, really, right? There's a lot that's going on. And you can see that there are energies below the surface and energies above the surface. And there are, it looks to me kind of like a singular person here achieving a higher level of consciousness. And it is, are you able to and ready to recognize that no matter what's going on around you, that you can choose to be on the side of the sun, right? That you can choose to see light and choose the reality that you're creating for yourself. So the current situation is that of all the things that are happening, there are 3 major counterparts that have been part of your reality. And there is this manifestation coming into being of 2 really emerging as triumphant aspects that are coming to the rescue, so to speak, to bring things together and into a brighter light. So right now it looks like the energies are amuck for some, right? There are those above and below that are wondering what is it that's really going on this show that we call Earth right now. And as you can see in the actual answer to the card as to what do I need to know, it is, the situation is there's a lot going on below the surface, but it is an ability to start anew. And that is the real answer here. It is that you have the ability to take the tumultuous energy of what is a decent foundation of understanding and awareness and come together with a partner and choose a path. So disregarding the words that these are my cards that I put on them and the intention when I made them. But if you read just the energy of the card, you can see, I'm wondering when I make them again, if it should be like without the words in general, probably so. That you can see it's choosing your partner and the road that you're going to take together. So there's a lot going on. There's a lot going on that you have the ability to create. And I want to say the word control, meaning you have the ability to manifest things the way that you choose to. And right now, it's just a matter of recognizing that there is a strong foundation for things coming together and manifesting the life that you desire. And you're beginning to understand that. And the answer is you need to understand that this is someone that you have to choose, and then you choose together the path you're going to take. And so it is a very broad understanding of how, if you choose that you want a partner in life, that first you choose your partner, then you work through those aspects, and then you decide the path that you're going to take together. You don't decide the path that you're going to take and then ask your partner to align to that. Right? And so when you're in alignment with your core soul frequency, yes, you are manifesting your gifts and abilities, your natural soul core frequency, but ultimately it's when you find your partner, right? When that is what happens, right? When you transition through how it is that they're coming in in the ways that you thought that might happen, which is what they were showing here, right? Then you can choose to move forward together. And it is through your own perception and understanding of the energies around you and what it is that you're able to perceive that ultimately creates that reality to come into fruition. Okay, so the energy that is crossing this is there are a lot of those that have been coming to the surface for when you are manifesting something in your life, those energies are at play, right? And so there was more than one that was coming to the surface for you to decide, is that what I wanted? And if not, then to move on and to say, I prefer something better. That is the art of manifestation, right? It is allowing yourself to review the choices that are out there and decide what it is that you desire. That is the energy of choice. And so it is your perception of what's going on. It is really the energy of influence is you're able to perceive what's going on in the world around you, as well as the energies of those around you. And we would also say their potentiality, right? Your own potentiality, of course, as well as the potentiality of a partner. Okay, that's wonderful. So you can look at these in any sort of way. Okay, so then as we look at kind of the basis of the situation, right? And it is the letting go of how it is that you thought someone was going to show up or how someone showed up in the past, and allowing yourself to recognize the love of your life for who they are when they show up. That's the basis of the situation. What you need to know is that he will show up, and it will be very obvious that you will see the person, but you will also have this layer of perception, right? That's this energy. It is, you will have the awareness of the potential path for you to have together. And so the basis of the situation really is you understanding and recognizing someone for who they have the potential to be. Okay. And so as we go along, what's behind you, meaning the Destiny card, isn't that a funny one to have behind you? And so what that's really meaning is that you have already aligned all the pieces, right? There are some things when we start to get into the energy of perception and divination and just, it really is the energy of perception. It is understanding the energies that are at play and the energy plays that are going on all around us, that at some point you recognize the things that are happening around you and how your manifestations are really coming into play. Right? And so the things that you have already put in play, the way that you are living your life, the way that you are setting your own preferences, the way that you were creating through your thoughts, through your words, and the way that you were living and appreciating the world around you is a very large part of that, has already laid the foundation for your understanding of what's coming and your awareness. So if you've been feeling like it's here, right, that it's now, that is what we're talking about. It is that the foundation has already been laid. And so the how you feel about it is in general that the players are already out. The verdict has already been made. It's just a matter of the true manifestation coming into fruition. And so what that means is, it is the way that manifestation happens. It is that you actualize the energy first, meaning that you create it through your thoughts, through your words, through your actions, and the way that you are living your life. And so you know that that is already out there, that what you have asked for is a partner that you could see yourself spending and creating with throughout time and space. Time being a construct, but if you wanted to give it one, that's the word that we have available. But throughout all multidimensional realities, that you have constructed your life in a way that you aren't throwing anything away. You are certainly allowing yourself to recognize the power of your ability to create with one who is worthy of creating with. So in your mind, it is that you've already created this reality, right? You've already spoke it into existence. It's now an actualized energy that you have been aligning to in a variety of ways. And so the what's happening now is the 3D manifestation of your creation, where you can actually see the living aspect come to life. Right? And that's what manifestation is all about. It is about living the way that you want for everything that shows up, saying, is that what I want, or do I want something else? And having that relationship with yourself and with your life and reality in general allows you to manifest what you want into your 3D reality. It's simply a matter of energetically aligning to that potentiality. And so this is what is happening now, right? And so the way that you are feeling about it, the energy of it, is what I am doing, what I am embodying within myself is sending and receiving love. It is thank you, God, for my blessings, right? I send and receive love to all. I allow myself to be in a frequency of love, and I allow myself to send love, and I also allow myself to receive love from myself and the collective at large. And so that is ultimately how emotionally you are in check with making sure that you are in a frequency of love, that what it is that's important to you throughout your day is feeling safe and steady and secure and an energetic frequency of love or something better, right? And so how others may see you, how others are perceiving the energy, is you're really understanding the art of manifestation. Because when you start to live, or when you are living in this particular way, the world around you is saying, I am acclimating to the world around you. So the world around you, when you are living in a state, when you're speaking what it is that you wish to have into existence, then the world itself is transforming and showing you the reality that you wish to live. And so what it is that you wish for, it is what we've been saying, right? It is you wish for what it is that you have been generating, what you have been saying, this is my preference, this is what I prefer. What it is that you've been speaking into reality is for the ability to move forward now in a physical way, making choices with someone else. Because if you've been living in the way of the divine alignment, it is first you choose your partner and then you decide what you want. You don't decide first that this is everything that I want and now I'm going to find someone who lines up with exactly what I want. You come into alignment with your own core soul frequency. You figure out who it is that you are and what you want. And then you allow a partner to help you navigate the highest potential aspect. And so if any of that sounded contradictory, it's because there is a certain amount of knowing who you are. There is a certain amount of understanding who you are that comes at a certain age. And it certainly could be younger than what I am now, if you look at it in terms of age. But it is, in general, have you come to the understanding of who you are in the core of what it is that you are and what it is that you desire without having any specifics, right? So you wouldn't decide that what I'm going to have in my life is children. The first thing you would decide is that I choose a partner, and then you would manifest whether or not you were going to have a life where you shared it with those. And that's not necessarily what I'm suggesting here for my own manifestation. It is simply that you allow yourself the potentiality for whatever partner that you choose to make those decisions with them, rather than having laid that complete foundation and had it be what it is that you had to have. For example, you may have been supporting yourself financially in a great way. Have you allowed for the potentiality of a partner being part of that? Right? Have you allowed for the possibility that whatever it is that you are doing could involve someone else? Right? Have you allowed for room for someone else to step into those aspects of your life? Right? That's what we're talking about as far as moving forward and making decisions together. And it means that you're deciding that I choose this as my life partner. I choose this person to move forward in my life, and we will navigate this road together. Okay. So we want to clarify here, and these are just clarifying energies. And what is going on here is the different aspects that have been at play for the masculine and the feminine. For the feminine, it has been coming into alignment with a general state of stability within herself, of being in a frequency of what I call sobriety. And it certainly can mean not partaking and imbibing of substances that alter your mental scape, but it really is a state of well-being within yourself, right? Are you able to be at an energetic state of prosperity within your own energy systems? And are you able to cultivate space for a living person to join you in that space, right? Have you created space, your own space within yourself and around you, for the potentiality of someone like that? Because it is allowing for space in your closet, for space in your car, for space in your home, for space in your life, for someone to be there, right? That you haven't filled all that space already, and that you are at a state of sobriety is the word that I use, but it really means that you are following your own path, that you're in alignment with your own inner joy and bliss, and it's not necessarily representative of the world around you, but of who you are. Have you found who you are and what it is that you desire? And it isn't necessarily, oh, I want a home and a cat and a dog and 5 children. That is not at all what I'm suggesting. What I'm suggesting is, have you found what you like to experience? Have you found what you like to experience at an intimate level? Have you found what you like to experience in food? Have you found what you like to experience in life? Have you discovered what it is that you like, what it is that you prefer to have for experiences, so that you can be prepared to have that shared experience with a partner? And that's what this card is all about, is choosing that path forward. And that is a very large aspect of it, is recognizing who you are and what it is that you are and what it is that you desire outside of the collective consciousness. Have you managed to raise your consciousness to a level of beyond that which everyone else is co-creating? Are you spending time reading books and blogs, and we'll just go out on a limb and say tarot readings from others? Or are you spending more time saying, what is it that I want? What do I actually like to eat? What do I like to make? How do I like to create? As opposed to falling in line with what everyone else is doing. And that is the restoration card. It is really uncovering who it is that you truly are at your core. Right? What is the thought from which you were created, and how can that manifest in the most wonderful way possible? And that is restoring your true core blueprint, if you will, to come into alignment with who you are. So that's the face that you're showing the world. And it can happen in a variety of different ways. It's just, have you figured out how to be you? And that you're not concentrated on reading others' books and others' ideas, and instead you're concentrating on your own self. And that's the path that the Divine Feminine has been on. The Divine Masculine, where this is still a preeminent energy as far as understanding who you are, has been more on a journey of manifesting wealth and abundance and endurance. And it's these two coming together where you're working together of stability, yes, but it's the systems of stability of the feminine body that ultimately create the space for the masculine to embody the energy that is needed of procreation, of protection, and of forward movement. Of how is it that we're going to, now that you have created this energy within yourself, how is it that we're going to move forward on this journey together? He has a notion of the foundation of what that can look like so that you can join together and move forward now. And that's what has been happening. It is the undercurrent of understanding who you are. Amen. Okay. And so as we bring these full circle, this card is really symbolizing that you may have been working with other people. And that was simply to understand what you want and what you don't want so that you recognize and come together in this energy, in the energy of destiny, in the energy of, oh, I figured it out. I didn't want any of this stuff. I didn't want any of what was coming around the corner. What I wanted was a divine counterpart, right? And so what was coming around the corner was I felt lost, I felt restricted, I felt contained, and I've chosen to let go of all of that in order to manifest a true love. Okay? That's fantastic. So it's the same thing as these cards, if in my opinion. It is recognizing what was going on around you, recognizing what you had been doing and the way that you had been living, and that maybe wasn't your true core of who you were, but really being in the collective consciousness. Christ consciousness is, have you elevated yourself to a level beyond the collective consciousness that you have found your core soul and you're receiving the inner guidance? It is transitioning through feeling restricted, feeling bound, feeling containment, right? And allowing yourself instead to let go of all of those things so that you can really find that true love counterpart. That's about all she wrote. Okay, so we're going to add those here. And then, we're going to pull a couple cards off the top here. Okay, so this is, what is it that you need to know? And it is passion. All right, and then another one. And healing family issues. So what we're talking about is, are you ready and able to recognize that the path that you have been on may not have been the path that you would have originally picked for yourself? However, when you recognize this new partner, you will be able to help them understand the path that they were given and how they can choose a better one, right? And that is forgiving and learning. So as you release and heal the past, you experience more love in your present moments. And that's it. That's all the cards I wanted from there. Okay. I hadn't used those cards in a while. So these are the Doreen Virtue Love somethings. Love Oracle or something. So anyway, that's really what we wanted to get after. So we're going to pull a couple of clarifying cards for this as well, but the underlying current here is that it's now. Let's see. Where are those cards? There's a set of cards that's usually there that has just said, Oh, there they are. Okay. Okay. So we're going to shuffle these cards now and say, let us clarify with 3 cards the undercurrent that needs to be present when you are meeting this person, right? So let's talk about that. Okay, so we have the King of Wands. And so let's talk about the King of Wands for a second. So the King of Wands is a very passionate person, right? And so it is generally seen as a masculine person. But what we would say, it is just the underlying energy of passion and thinking and speaking in passionate ways. So when you are meeting someone and it's a potential aspect of a partner, that you are speaking in a very passionate, loving, supporting way. Love that energy. Thank you. Okay. And then we have Judgment. This is an interesting Judgment card. Very pretty. Okay, so we have now pretty big energy in a major arcana. So we asked for the clarifying energy. So this would be the what's going to happen, right? So we'll just be honest. It is reviewing the energies of the situation, reviewing how it is that you have learned everything, taking into consideration everything that you have ever done, and understanding that you've come a long way. And anyone who's able to sway themselves a little bit more towards the path that you're on, good job them. And so it's letting go of the energies of judgment of others. Speaking passionately, yes, but recognizing that the energies that another may be in, you may need to give them a little bit of time to catch up. It means that they have a strong foundation. We talked about that here. And they have the ability to align, but it may take them a little bit of time to align to exactly where you are. And we have the Ace of Wands. And so very powerful wand energy here. And so the situation, the transition energy, the outcome is the Ace of Wands. And the Ace of Wands is a lot of forward movement and interest. So when you show up and you're speaking in a passionate way, they're reviewing also there's a lot going on with this card. They're reviewing every other person that they ever met and realizing that you're the match they were looking for. You are the one that they realized the second that they laid eyes on you, that's the one. How did I not know she was the one when I witnessed her energy here before? I now know that I'm going to show that interest very clearly now. So if you can let go of how it is that you thought it needed to go and recognize that you had a path that you were laid out very clearly and allow them to align to a lot of interest is really what that energy is. And so what you need to know is that they're going to recognize you and compare you to everyone else they've ever met, and you're going to stand out in a good way in order to see what it is that you have been looking for. Okay. So let's go in a different direction with this. Okay. And so we're going to, you want to know what those are? Okay. It is the high priest. It wasn't really our intention when we drew these cards, but it is the underlying thing that I was talking about originally. And that is the high priestess, the fool, and the Six of Swords. And so we have two major arcana, right? And so when we talk about major arcana, those are the major cycles. So the major cycle here is the understanding. What are the energies at play? What do you need to know? You already know what you need to know. You need to tap into your energy and your own inner guidance to know what to say, where to go, where to be, and that it is a new beginning. to allow yourself a new beginning, to allow them a new beginning, to allow just a new beginning to be the energy of what you're creating. To me, that is this card. As I read it, it is a journey, right, with a true love counterpart. So allow yourself to recognize that that's the journey that you're on. The Six of Swords, then, as we allow these energies to play out, it is that you're moving forward and recognizing that this is a new person. So there are some kinks to be worked out. Not large ones, not at all, but it's simply a matter of recognizing that the energies at play here are large, and there will be things that are coming mostly for the collective that you will be asked to work through and understand and decide how you're going to move through things together. It is these energies together really represent what we're saying with that card, and it is that you are connected. You have the energy of the perception, right? That's basically the High Priestess card. And it is alignment with wisdom, right? And the ability to understand what's going on, right? And then we talk about a new journey with a true love counterpart. We had the true love card that came out here. There we go. That came out here as well. And really understanding that you're moving forward with things that are going to need to be worked out. That's just what's happening in humanity. So it's not a major arcana. It's not a major cycle. It's not a major choice. It's just the energies that are going on. You following your intuition, you accepting the path with a new partner. That is the ultimate cycle. Those are the major things that you're aligning to. Are those active in your energy? They are. There are other energies at play. These are the other energies at play, the things that you're working through. Okay, more cards for fun. Okay, more clarifying things here from the Oracle. Oh, the pretty cards is what I call these. Oh. Okay. Oh. All right. So, just for fun, what else? We're gonna do a random shuffle. Okay. I trust that these cards will be well liked by the YouTube gods. Oh, that's the card I saw before. It's just, well, yeah. I allow for whatever needs to be shown to be shown. And so, yeah. Okay. We'd like just one card, please. Was there another one that lifted? Yes, there was. Thank you. Okay, one card for clarification for fun of what it is that we need to know. Okay, that wasn't really the card we were going for, but it is something that we already talked about. So the Four of Cups energy is really the choices and recognizing the choices that are coming up and whether or not they make sense for you. So whoever is showing up in your reality, evaluating the choice, using your own intuition, your own inner guidance system. Not that they have to be a perfect choice, but that they are a choice that really resonates with who you are. Okay, so show us a card that really shows us what else we need to know and what we need to clarify regarding the new life partner. Oh boy. Oh. We asked for one card, so we're gonna put those back. Okay. These are just the divine energy cards. A lot of them are, I guess, yeah, gilded as well. So they're very pretty and shiny. So what is it that we need to know for clarification regarding our new life partner? A lot. One card. What is it that we can clarify about what we need to know? Maybe I need to be more specific here. That was a good one. Okay. And it really is about letting yourself feel into the energy of each person that you meet. And do they feel right for you? Do they feel in alignment with your core soul frequency? Or do they just look pretty? Or do they look nice on paper? Because, there we go. Love it. And so, this is a pretty gilded one, and it's a major arcana. So, this is the Magician card. And so, this is the energy that I was speaking about as well. So, it makes sense that that would be the one that came out, right? I was speaking it into existence because the Magician really is, it is awakening to higher consciousness, right? It is healing the energy balance and the potentiality and manifesting your desires from harnessing the energy of all worlds literally into existence. That is how I read the Magician card. It is that you have brought down the energy from the heavens and have seen it manifested in 3D reality. And there's actually a pentacle in this card. I don't know that that's present in all Magician cards, but you can see it is the 3D manifestation of love, of healing, and of your physical reality manifesting in front of your very eyes, right? I'm guessing that is true then, right? So we have the swords, the cups, and the pentacles, and then here's our wand, I guess, right? And so we have the manifestation of the elements into your reality. And it is that you are manifesting this through everything that you do, everything that you speak, everything that you wear and eat and experience, and what it is that you prefer. You are drawing in a counterpart who is in alignment with your core soul frequency when you are in alignment with your core soul frequency. Okay. We're gonna play this one again. So what else can we clarify about this? And so they do have a nice little spread over here going, right? And so I thought one that was flipped over. It is recognizing the choices and that you are manifesting them. So if I'm going to hold on for a second. So, right, if you see someone showing up and they're not exactly of the caliber that you had thought, what is it that you can correct within yourself? How is it that you were maybe manifesting before that you can say, okay, I recognize that was an upgrade, but I prefer something even better, right? And recognizing the choices that are presenting themselves to you and how it is that you manifested them and how you can manifest even higher by refining and setting your preferences, right? It's like, use your frequent flyer miles is what I'm getting here. And it's recognizing if there are things in the 3D that need to be healed, what they are. This is exactly the energies that I was talking about, right? Is there something that you need to allow for space? Right? So we have the Page of Pentacles and the Four of Swords. And so what we're talking about here, right? When we talk about the page, it is someone coming in, recognizing if there's energies that need to be healed about you. When you see something coming in, if it isn't exactly what it is that you wanted, then say, no, thank you, and allow your preferences to be redefined and say, I wish for something better. And then allow that person to be let out of your life so that you're not, so that that space is not occupied, so that you're allowing space for a new one to come in. And then we have the clarification, which is the King of Pentacles, right? And so very beautiful cards, I would say. And so the major arcana here, right? The major cycle is, what were you manifesting? What were you speaking into existence? Were you recognizing what it was that you were being given and refining your choices and the way that you were living your life? Because then you manifest the King of Pentacles. And the King of Pentacles really is the desired counterpart, a strong male counterpart to the feminine. We would say the highest energetic potentiality of what it is that you could possibly work with. Recognize that it is the person that you're choosing to go on your journey with. End of those cards. Okay. Okay, they said one more set. That was funny. Okay. We're going to do something slightly lighter over here. Okay. So, a burst of magic. I love it. All right, so we're going to do, we're going to try to do this. So we're just going to do some clarifying for fun of helping us to refine and have fun with this energy and show us what it is that is divining all around us, because we get to speak what it is that we experience into reality, right? And so divine your reality. Allow yourself to experience what it is that you want, right? And if it is that you, she did say, I did say we were going to have fun. And so we were saying divine your reality. It is the divine matrix. When you understand, and we had the perception card, we had the high priestess card here somewhere, the high priestess card, the magician, and the divine matrix. You create your reality. And it is up to you to decide when the reality that you have created is the divine one that you could have only possibly dreamed into fruition through everything that you've been doing, through creating your reality, through speaking the words into existence yourself. Amen. Thank you all for returning.